Imagine earning $25,000 a month and standing in your kitchen at 3 a.m., vomiting from financial anxiety. This is the reality for thousands of top-tier professionals. This is the reality for Zen. To the outside world, he's an elite constructor of his own destiny. But behind closed doors, his bank account is a bleeding wound. Zen isn't stupid. He didn't make a bad investment. He is a victim of a psychological phenomenon that slips past raw logic. The wealth baseline theory. Your mind contains an internal financial thermostat, locked in during your most vulnerable years. Growing up, Zen's nervous system mapped financial trauma and scarcity as its default definition of normalcy and safety. Decades later, when Zen's corporate salary skyrockets, his environment changes, but his neurology stays exactly the same. When his bank account rises above that childhood setting, his subconscious registers the surplus not as a victory, but as a dangerous threat to its familiar baseline. To return to its comfort zone, his brain triggers a state of unrecognized panic. It forces him to self-sabotage, creating an artificial, overwhelming urge to purge the money on luxury assets he doesn't need, subconsciously dragging his net worth back down to his childhood setting of being completely broke. If you have ever felt like you hit an invisible ceiling every time you try to scale your income, you are not fighting the economy, you are fighting your own nervous system. Today, we are dismantling the hidden architecture keeping you trapped. This hidden programming is reinforced by a second foundational concept in behavioral economics: prospect theory, pioneered by psychologists Daniel Kahneman and Amos Tversky. Their research mathematically proved loss aversion, the fact that human beings experience the psychological pain of a financial loss twice as intensely as they experience the pleasure of an equivalent gain. Watch how this traps Zen when he attempts to invest. He allocates a portion of his savings into a diversified index fund. A normal, completely standard market correction occurs and his portfolio dips by 7%. Logically, historical data shows market dips are temporary, but Zen's loss aversion overrides his logic. The psychological pain forces him into a state of panic, causing him to sell his investments at the absolute bottom of the market, permanently locking in his losses. While Zen flees in fear, individuals with a trained wealth psychology do the exact opposite. They understand that volatility is simply the price of admission for long-term growth. They use periods of market panic to buy high-quality assets at a deep discount, utilizing historical data over temporary emotion. For those who manage to survive market drops, an even more insidious trap awaits them on their day-to-day balance sheets: the hedonic treadmill, or lifestyle inflation. Every time Zen receives a salary increase, his baseline desires instantly adjust upward. He trades his paid-off sedan for a luxury car lease and upgrades his apartment. From a strict financial literacy standpoint, Zen is fundamentally confusing liabilities with assets. He is trading his most valuable asset, his time, to fund a temporary social status that actively depreciates in value, leaving his real net worth at zero. Deconstructing these deeply ingrained behavioral biases requires systematic, conscious education. If you are starting to recognize these hidden patterns in your own life or behavior, please take a brief moment to like and share this video right now. Sharing signals the YouTube algorithm to distribute this educational framework to more viewers worldwide who are struggling to break out of these exact loops. Let's build the Hive together. To truly break free from the trap of being broke, we must evaluate a fourth educational pillar: opportunity cost analysis. The broken mindset views purchases solely through the lens of immediate cash outflow. For instance, when Zen spends $2,000 on a high-end luxury vacation, he believes the cost is simply $2,000. A wealth mindset calculates the opportunity cost. That same $2,000 invested wisely over 2 decades at an average 8% market return is worth nearly $10,000. Zen didn't just buy a vacation. He unknowingly sold a piece of his future financial autonomy. This financial blindness is protected by the Dunning-Kruger effect, where individuals with low financial literacy experience an overinflated level of confidence in their choices. They assume that because they earn a steady income, they understand how money works, completely oblivious to the structural traps draining their net worth. Ultimately, permanent wealth accumulation is not a byproduct of external economic conditions, but rather the result of rigorous internal mental mastery. To step off the treadmill, you must actively reprogram your baseline. You must learn to view currency not as a tool for short-term consumption or emotional validation, but as raw economic energy meant to be saved, invested, and strategically deployed. If you are committed to advancing your financial education and mastering the deep behavioral mechanics of wealth, make sure to like this video, share it with someone who needs this perspective, and subscribe to the Hive. Stop reacting emotionally to your financial environment and start engineering your financial future. Thank you for watching this lesson, and we will see you in our next deep dive.